Hey everyone, it's Mike from Rogala Photography here. I'm gonna kind of do a different type of a video today. First off, it's unscripted. Normally, I script my videos, and usually I script them because I could be a little long-winded. So I'm gonna apologize in advance, especially if I start to get long-winded on this video. So please just bear with me on it. Uh, Basically, I I think other people are feeling what I'm feeling, and everybody's handling it a different way. But basically, it is, we're in the creative field, whether we're recording videos or taking photos, and basically, we post our videos or our photos, and we don't get the results that we were hoping for. And, I'm realistic. I understand that, you know, not every video or every photo I post on Instagram is going to go viral. Okay. I mean, that's just, anybody who has that outlook just probably shouldn't even be on social media. But you want to at least get some feedback. Okay. And if you notice, I haven't posted a video on YouTube here for about 2 weeks. And that's because, I mean, basically, I had kind of a mental breakdown, if you will. I mean, I don't know if you want to go to that extreme, but because it wasn't really like that. But it was just, I just felt like my work wasn't good enough, even though I know deep inside that, I mean, I'm producing, I mean, decent work, at least for my level. I know my photography has definitely been, it's up there. I know I'm posting good work. And I know my videos, I'm still learning. I've been at this for a little over a year. And, obviously I'm still learning how to do YouTube videos and such. But I really started falling into that trap of basing the worth of my work on views and likes and that kind of stuff. And at least for me, um, I've had some health issues going on. So I really haven't been able to get out there and do what I really like to do, which is get out there and do some landscape photography and, kind of go on the trails and kind of get back into the woods a little bit. And I haven't been able to do that. And that has really played a big part of just my outlook on my work. And I just don't know, like, I just needed a break, even though I didn't like plan on taking a break. It was been where it's like a day by day, and next thing I realized it was like 2 weeks and I haven't posted a video. So I wanted to talk about, you know, having these creative breakdowns. I mean, everybody has them. Everybody goes through it. And we all go through them at different levels. Some people, we may go through it for a day or two, then we shake it off, and then that's it. You get back into it and you're fine. Others, it may take longer. I mean, I see some of these bigger YouTubers, they're like posting a video announcing that they are, getting off of YouTube, or they're going to take a undisclosed amount of time off or whatever. I mean, even Peter McKinnon has been kind of doing that. And obviously he's at a completely different level than, what I am. But I guess, what I'm trying to say is that we're all in this together, and we all want to learn. I mean, I've been at photography since the 1990s or so. I mean, I started with film, and I took a break from film for a while. Then when I got back into it, I started getting into digital, and so that was kind of like, a relearning, if you will, of photography. But I've been at this a while, and I tell you, with the advent of social media, it really does put a different kind of a pressure on creatives to get quality work out there, and not just quality work, because you know what? you could put out a quality piece of work, whether it's a photograph or a video, and not get the response that you thought you were going to get. And that's kind of, at least I think the case that I'm in. I mean, I know my YouTube videos could use some work. I do script everything, so sometimes I can sound like a robot. But again, I don't want the video to drag out for 20 minutes when I could do the video in 8 minutes with a script. So that's why I kind of do that. So I'm kind of working on, delivering the script much more naturally. But like photography, I've been at this for quite a while. And I feel like, yes, I'm always improving. I'm always learning new things, whether it's actual learning a new type of photography, learning a new style of editing, a new trick, whatever. I'm always trying to improve. And I do put that natural pressure on myself to improve. But when I compare my work to, some other photographers, both locally and, on the internet, I mean, I see my work as, I know that it's up there, but I guess it's like I have these expectations, and I think we all have an expectation. We look at our photography, and we go, well, that's pretty good. I think people are gonna like this, and then you show it to people, and they're like, and especially on the photography groups, like in Facebook and stuff, it just seems like because people can hide behind their computer screen, they feel like they can say whatever they want and be unfiltered. And they probably would never have the guts to say that stuff to you in person. And I just wonder if they are really being honest or if they're just being trolls and just trying to insult people. And, it's like, I again, like I said, I'm kind of winging this here. So bear with me. But I, I want to know if anybody else is actually kind of feeling this about their work where, you're doing at least decent work where, it may not be perfect, but then again, no photograph is perfect. I mean, people pick apart the Mona Lisa, I mean, it's like if they pick apart the Mona Lisa, they could pick apart our photos at any given time. Okay. So, uh, it's just, I guess it's just a lot of pressure of social media, and you don't want to leave social media. Like I just took a break from both Instagram and also from YouTube, and again, it was more of a day by day, break. It wasn't like, oh, I'm taking 2 weeks off. It was just, okay, how do I feel today? And it was really like it was painful. I never thought I would actually feel that way. I knew that being successful on social media and on the internet is not easy at all. Uh, but man, I'll tell you, it's definitely different as opposed to, like, say you go back to when Peter McKinnon started. He was probably one of the pioneers, in doing this kind of stuff and posting his photos on Instagram like this and going on YouTube and teaching photography on YouTube, etc. He was one of the pioneers. So when he entered, he didn't really have a model to follow, but at the same time, people that were watching him didn't really have other resources except for, books and maybe some websites where you can read tutorials and stuff. But the whole video and watching somebody do something, that really wasn't, as big yet. So, people naturally started liking him because, number one, he was good, but also that was all they had. So he built up a following, and it got to the point where it's like, millions of people. Now he's set, but if you notice, he's kind of changing the type of videos he posts. Now, me, I'm a former elementary school teacher, so I mean, I do love to teach. I'm retired, and I do love teaching. And I just didn't like teaching in a classroom anymore. I kind of like having the freedom of teaching, online like this. And I really wanted to teach. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try this with photography here. And I started kind of putting some stuff out there, seeing what other people were doing and saying, you know what? I like what they did, but maybe if you add this or subtract that, and I started kind of playing around with that kind of stuff to try to find, a style, and also trying to find what to teach. And that is the hard thing. What do I teach? And I guess without getting the feedback on YouTube, you start to wonder, like, well, what should I teach? And what do people want? You try to look, and you do all the little tricks that all these YouTubers say, like, oh yeah, here's how you search for popular topics and blah 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 blah. The problem is the popular topics are already so saturated, that you post a video about a similar topic or the same topic, and you're just another fish in the ocean. And it gets tough. Instagram changed its philosophy, I guess, if you will, and focused more on video. And while I like doing long form video on YouTube, I'm not big on doing shorts and reels and stories, and that's just not my thing. And you know what? You could do what a lot of YouTubers do, and they take their long form YouTube video and then they chop it up and they make reels out of them. And I guess I could do that, but I don't know. It just seems like a little too redundant. I'm trying to come up with fresh ideas, and also with photography. You go out there and you take your photos and you either try to tell a story or invoke emotion out of people. Now with all the fall colors changing, it's a great way to invoke the emotions of autumn. And I really want to do that. And I'm trying to. I know my photos won't be like a Pulitzer Prize winning photo, but I mean, I would like to see some feedback on them, and not really from posting them in a photography group, because they're gonna start to automatically critique them and pick them apart for the littlest things, like, oh, if you zoom in 2,000%, you can see how this is out of focus. Well, I mean, come on, what idiot is going to zoom in that far to critique a photo? Okay. Um, I mean, it's just ridiculous the way people look at I posted a video a while back. Sometimes a photo is just a photo. And that's the truth. Sometimes a photo is just what it is when you look at it. Okay. You don't need to pick it apart into its finest little pieces. Did you follow the rule of thirds? Is this color a little too saturated? Is it a little too noisy? Just look at the photo. Look at the scene. What story does it tell you? If it doesn't evoke emotion, move on. If it doesn't speak to you, move on. It's art. Not every photo or piece of art is going to speak to you. I mean, I can look at a Picasso and be like, what was he thinking? But you move on, you walk away. That's why, the internet, it's just giving people too much bravery, I guess, for lack of a better term. To me, it's cowardice, because if you wouldn't say it in person, why would you go and say this to somebody, on the internet? You know, um, but people just think they can say whatever they want, and they're unfiltered now. And I don't know. It's just, and again, I'm not one of these people that like is going to get all butthurt about, everything you hear on the internet, especially when they're being a troll. But sometimes people are giving, sometimes opinions that it might hit a little too close to home. You know, if you post a picture of, somebody, a family member, and they may say something like, "Oh, that person's overweight," or whatever. It's like, well, you shouldn't be. That's not has nothing to do with the photo, you know. And I've seen that online, not necessarily with my photos, but with like other people's photos where they're actually critiquing the model. And whatever, something that's about the model themselves and not necessarily the photograph. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. You know, we're all in this together, especially when somebody posts in another photography group amongst other photographers. If you can't say anything that's going to help them, get off the internet and just move away. Go. Okay? You don't need to be doing and talking like this. Uh don't be rude. Is what I guess is what I'm trying to say. No need to be rude. And also, don't just write a real short answer where it can be taken 20 different ways. With the internet, words being two-dimensional, people can, take things so many different ways. Make sure you explain why you said what you said. Don't just say, "Oh, I just think that model's eyes are terrible." Okay, well, what is so terrible about them? Go into detail. All right. But again, you shouldn't be saying, hey, they're terrible. Just say, well, maybe if the model was looking in this direction instead, or maybe if they had something to focus on, whatever, that's more positive. You're kind of saying the same thing, but you're saying it more positively. That's all I'm trying to say. You know, when we criticize art, there's an old saying, art is in the eyes of the beholder. What you may not like, others may adore. Okay. So, you know what? Let's just get out there and let's encourage one another. Uh, and you know what? I'll be quite honest with you. I can't believe I'm making a video like this because I'm not one of these like warm and fuzzy type of people that kind of talk like, oh, just be nice to people. I usually don't do that. Usually I'm the type of person that's like, just walk away if you don't like something. But in this case, you know, a lot of people are getting into photography now, or even other types of art and stuff. Let's show them, some other positive ways to do what they're going to do. You know, if you're not going to go out there and teach somebody, how what you think is the right way to do it, then you really have no right criticizing anybody. Get out there, start a YouTube channel. You could do it with your phone. You don't even need to have fancy cameras, whatever. Demonstrate it to people. Get online. Show them. Write a vlog or a blog or whatever, or a tutorial site, or describe a right way to do something then. Don't sit there and just be rude about it. If you're gonna talk the talk, walk the walk. Because quite honestly, some of the people that are really bad at criticizing other people's work, their own work is really not that great. So show people, help them. Okay. When I learned how to do photography, there wasn't the internet. I had to either buy books. I had to, in the back of photography magazines, you could order different courses. I remember I started going to the, what is it? The New York City Institute of Photography, I think it was called. I remember I started doing that just to kind of pick up on things. And again, I was shooting in film. And I had to go on for projects, had to take photos and then print them up and then mail them in, and then they critique you that way. But at least they gave you positive critiques on your photos. There was nothing online or anything like that. So create a photography group, in Facebook or whatever, and show people. Post tutorials. Oh, this is how you do the rule of thirds. This is how you don't over edit your photo. Don't criticize somebody else for trying. Okay. It's kind of funny. I posted a video a couple months ago, and most people really, really like it. It was actually one of my more well welcomed videos. People really liked what I did. And somebody pointed out the smallest little detail in the video. Well, you need to look at the camera a little bit better. I'm like, oh, okay. Is that all you got out of the video? It was a 10-minute video or whatever it was, and that's what you got out of it. That maybe I didn't look at the camera enough. Well, hey, I was just learning how to do stuff, and Matter of fact, I actually had to start this video over because I got 5 minutes into it and I realized I wasn't looking at the camera, but still, we need to start getting out there and teaching, and also to give people ideas. Okay. Like, for example, if you see a YouTuber and maybe you're getting kind of bored of their work, okay, yes, you can unfollow them. Okay. Or you can go down in the comments. Now, I leave my comments wide open. The only thing I do is I have to check all my comments before I, release them to the public because I want to make sure nobody's posting anything inappropriate and whatever. But I don't edit any comments, whatever. I just make sure that I post them and that they get up there. But get on the comments and say, hey, you know what? I would really love it if you would do a video on portrait photography in a studio or on location, or if you would, kind of go into more detail about the rule of thirds or the Fibonacci spiral. I already did one video on the Fibonacci spiral, but it was just, kind of like an overview. If somebody wanted to see a video kind of get into more detail on that, put it in the comments. There's stuff that you probably want to learn, and you may like my style or someone else's style of teaching, but they don't have that particular topic. Write it in the comments and let people know. Or, you know what? Most of the people on YouTube have a website. I have a website, RogalaPhotography.com. You can contact me through there. So let's just say you don't want to comment on a YouTube video for other people to see. Go to my website, shoot me an email. The link is in my bio on YouTube. Okay. It's also on my Facebook and my Instagram page. And most YouTubers, they have some sort of other way that you can contact them where you don't have to comment in the bottom of the comments like on YouTube. Okay. And it just seems like a lot of people are focusing on all the real big YouTubers, Mark Denny, obviously Peter McKinnon. I'm trying to think of some of the other big photographers that are out there right now that people really, the Photographic Eye is another one who's really, really popular. And it's kind of funny, like, I'll see a video and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a video about that topic that like, say the Photographic Eye. If you've never seen him, go check his page out. He's really, really good. He really, really digs into the philosophy end of it. And I really like that because it's not just like, oh, well, point your camera this way or raise your camera up here. And he really gets down into the whys and the hows and the whats, especially the why. Why do we do this? Well, what are we trying to achieve? And I really love how he does that. But it's kind of funny. I tried to recreate a topic and I completely bombed at it. And again, I don't know if it's just my style of teaching. Maybe it didn't fit that type of topic. I don't know, but it's just challenging. And I tell you, this whole social media thing is difficult. So unless you've actually gone out there and been successful yourself on social media, you probably should, back off the rude comments a little bit and, just say, hey, you know what, would I like to hear a comment like this? Because chances are, if you're someone giving a really, really rude comment and somebody were to do that to you, I guarantee you probably be the person that's going to yell and swear at them and call them names. Okay. Which again, yeah, hey, trust me, I might do something like that in person, but then again, that's in person. So someone can defend themselves, while right in front of me. And don't just, what, we're online. It's just take the time to think about what you're writing. Okay. And, look at your grammar. And I know some of us that are on here where, English is a second language. And, I totally get that. But just, try your best to give constructive criticism. Really, really help somebody. Don't do it for the sake of embarrassment and being a troll. Okay. Because quite honestly, trolls are just old. Now you don't have to be like, I'm not one of these people that like everybody gets a trophy, a participation trophy. Okay. I mean, let's face it, there are people out there that maybe they're just not good artists at all. Okay. And the only people that give them compliments are maybe very close family members. You could probably teach them to be to do better. They may never be a professional photographer, but everybody can become a better photographer. Okay, not everybody is going to be able to make money doing this. Again, art is very, very subjective, but I see so many people posting photos, in the photo groups that, quite honestly, they do look like they're just snapshots done on the phone by someone who's never picked up a camera before. Help them. Okay. Straighten out your horizons, learn how to edit your photos a little bit, learn the rule of thirds. As a matter of fact, one person came into this photography group. She asked everybody to give her advice how to do a particular type of photo that she saw on, I think it was Instagram or something like that. And she wanted to know how this particular photo was done. And I said, well, for starters, go and learn the exposure triangle. And then you can go and you can actually learn it yourself. This particular person wanted settings. Well, what settings do I need to be able to do this photo? Well, we can't give you settings on how to do a particular photo. There's so many different variables that you need to learn how to create the settings you need for the location you're in. Okay. I can't give you a set of settings where you are, because you know what, the time of day might be different. I may be doing it on a sunny day. You may be doing it on an overcast day. It may be done in a studio. Someone else may be doing it outside. Someone may be using a flash. Other people using regular studio lights. There's so many different variables that you need to learn the exposure triangle in order to be able to figure it out. This person got so defensive and started, calling me names and saying, well, maybe you shouldn't be so mean to people. I'm like, what? I'm like, I just told you to learn the exposure triangle, and you can learn how to do this yourself. She took it so personal. And I'm like, honey, you need to get off the internet, seriously, because other photographers, I'll jump to my defense. They all said, well, you know what? He's right. The exposure triangle pretty much is 90% of photography. Okay. 10% is like everything else. And you learn the exposure triangle, you pretty much can create almost any photo you want. You need to be good at the exposure triangle, and then everything else falls into place. So I was happy, at least in this particular case, that other photographers did come to my defense. But usually, when you're in a group like on Facebook, it's usually like a bunch of piranha where somebody criticizes somebody, that opens up the door for everybody else to come on in and start calling people names and saying you suck and blah blah blah. And it's like, come on, just get over yourselves. And you get that gang mentality. So anyway, I hope that I was at least able to not just ramble on with this video, and it actually made an impact on how people act on social media. Because let's face it, you're supposed to act a certain way in public, and you know what? Technically, even though you are sitting in your room or on a couch or whatever at your house, typing away, criticizing somebody, you're posting in public. Okay, it is public. So, let's start learning how to, or relearn how to act in public. Okay, be constructive. You can critique. Okay, you can critique. I know some groups have rules where if the person doesn't ask for a critique or for feedback, well, then don't give it. And I kind of like that, because in this way you have a choice. Okay. Um, because guess what? Some people just don't want to hear it, and that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Uh, um, but just just let's just kind of get back to being civil and helping one another become better photographers, better artists. Unless you have won a Pulitzer Prize or some major award for your photography and you're making six figures, you for your work consistently, yeah, you probably shouldn't be rude to anybody. And even if you are doing all those things, you still don't have the right to be rude to somebody. So, anyway, hopefully my rambling did some good. You guys liked it. And, let me know in the comments. And, if there's anything, that kind of spoke to you, that what I said. Positive or negative, I don't care. Just, what? Don't be rude about it. Okay. Let me know, like, hey, well, you know what? I think you're wrong about this, or you know what? You nailed this, But then if tell me why, both scenarios. Why was something really, really good that I said? And why was something probably not something that worked? Okay. And, again, just practice in the comments. Just don't be rude. All right. So anyway, I should be getting another video done by the end of the week. And that way I can have back to 2 videos a week like I normally like to do. I usually try to post every Tuesday and Friday. And it doesn't always work out that way. But I always try to post twice a week. The only exception would be I just did a series on composition. It was a 5 video series, and I actually posted every day for 5 days. So, I tell you, that was a lot of work. So if you get a chance, please go check out those videos. It's a 5-part series on composition. So if you get a chance, check them out. Click that thumbs up on it if you could. Leave some comments. Let me know what you would like to see or what you got out of them, just so I can kind of grow and provide what you want. Because, when you give feedback, you start to get more stuff that you want. Okay. So until my next video, take care, everyone.